Okay, today is very special. We have a gentleman with us who's going to be talking to us, our speaker. His name is Mark Lefkowitz, and he's going to tell you a story about his incredible journey of success. Basically, he started with nothing and was homeless. He was dropped off in Las Vegas in the 1970s with no friends, no family, no money, and no place to be. Anyway, he built from nothing a real estate empire. He considers himself a serial entrepreneur. Today, he is a teacher of financial literacy and writes about the skills to become wealthy. He is also working on a curriculum for success, and he has presented his work in multiple countries. He also is considered a philanthropist who donates his time and money for worthy causes that can help change this planet one mind at a time. Let's give our speaker a warm School of Business welcome. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's get started. If you were the valedictorian in your class, in your high school, A number one, top of the list over there, would you be a little fish in a big pond or a big fish in a little pond? And this is audience participation, so guys, you could just yell it out. This is not like I got to raise my hand. Big fish in a little pond, exactly. And what if in high school you had 3.1, a couple of B's, a couple of C's, whatever, you were in the middle of the road, weren't really noticed? Would you be a big fish in a little pond or a little fish in a big pond? Yeah. What would happen if, as the valedictorian, the big fish, you got accepted to Harvard, Stanford, one of these big schools, fancy schools? How would you feel then? Would you be a big fish or a little fish? A big fish as you started to attend. What would happen if in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, you were at the bottom third of Harvard after all this excitement, valedictorian, but it's really competitive? Then all of a sudden, you're thinking you want to drop out, you want to change your major. How would you feel then? Small fish, yeah. Crushing. What if you did drop out? How would you feel? Really small. And what if you went to a smaller school, but you were the middle of your class, but you went to a smaller college, and now you were in the top third of this smaller school that you went to? How would you feel then? Big fish. Well, as it turns out, there are studies done on this, and the ones that are like the bottom third of Harvard that are about to drop out do not do as well as the top third of a smaller school, as far as financially, success, how they feel about themselves. So what could we discern about this? And that is, how I see myself matters. This is really important. This is your self-concept. So if you see yourself failing, not keeping up with others, you might have a look upon yourself, or you might just not feel like you want to get up the next morning. It might be hurtful. And if your self-concept is, wow, look at what I'm doing, look what's going on, things are happening to me, your self-concept's going to go up. And this is really a critical step. How you see yourself matters. It's going to affect your enthusiasm, your creativity, and your success ultimately. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story, but it's here not to tell you about my story, it's just to be used as a metaphor. So we're going to just basically look at some of the things of how to get from A to B in our success as an entrepreneur. So it's 1974, and I live in New York, and all my friends there, it's like August, are going to SUNY school, State University of New York, SUNY, Ithaca, Binghamton, Albany, or they've got more money and they're going to Boston University or even a better school. My parents have no money. I'm not going to school. And there are my parents at the door. Come on, you just grab a seat, don't worry. So there are my parents at the door, and they're going, this is our house, we pay the bills, we make the rules, and if you don't like it, there's the door. So a cousin told me about Las Vegas is great, They got showgirls and tequila and cigarettes and alcohol and fun and land of milk and honey. And I'm not going to college. I don't have any grades. So I end up going to Las Vegas with a friend in a station wagon. You get to Las Vegas. You got to be 21 to drink. We're 17, 18 years old. This is not working. It's his car. We had slept in the back, switched driving. Get to Las Vegas. And he goes, I'm out of here. I'm going to get my tow truck driving assistant. Minsky's towing or something. And I'm out of here. And I wave goodbye. And there I am in the streets of Las Vegas with a little duffel bag, my Keds, not much more, $32. No idea what I'm doing, but I'm not going home. So what we want to discern from this is you got to have a plan. You got to have some energy. So one of our first things that we look at is like, what am I going to do? So I found a cardboard box and a place to put it. It's a nice fancy box, wax cardboard. Survival. That's what you got to do. And as I laid in that box, this is not where I wanted to be. This was not my plan. This is not the way it was supposed to go. This is not cool. This is not working for me. So I had my own version of I had a dream. And I was going to become successful. But I'm laying there in the box. And so this is kind of where the story goes. Where do you start? How do you get this going? I found myself a room in the back of some motel somewhere and said, you know what? I'm never going to be in this position. This is not good. And I got a job as a pizza man because you can mash up $1.40 an hour with pizza. What a great job. You can eat and make $1.40 an hour. And it was one of those great, great things. And I saved up, and I got my first set of wheels. Does anybody remember their first set of wheels here? Yeah? What was your first set of wheels? A 1990 Dodge Caravan. And what was the feeling like? Good. So you got around, got a little freedom, got things going on. That's what it's about. And everybody else can probably relate to what their first car was and the feeling. You get the feeling that was inside you when you have it, that freedom or whatever. Well, I got my first set of wheels, Schwinn. But it's a set of wheels. It's kind of where you start. So one of the first rules of success is you must optimize your fish pond. So you can write that down. You must optimize your fish pond. What does that mean, you got to optimize your fish pond? Anybody willing to give me a take on what that means, optimize your fish pond? That means you got to, what was that? Prioritize. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You've got to be able to take the things that have been laid upon you, bestowed upon you, and optimize them, make them the best possible. So I'm sitting in a motel room with a bicycle now. That's great. It's a start. These are gifts. These are the things you have to start with. So you want to optimize your fish pond. This is the most important thing. So everybody's got a set of circumstances here. And those are the tools, those are the things in your life. Optimize them. Make them the best for you. The next thing is fish grow to suit their environment. What does that mean? Think about that for a second. Fish grow to suit their environment. So if I buy a goldfish and put it in a bowl this big, how big is it going to grow? Right. And we're the same way. What's our environment? Fish grow to suit their environment. So if we're in a network, if we're in a group, if we're in a bunch of circumstances, and we only limit ourselves with limitations, we can only grow so big. And the whole idea is to expand your mind. Just let these things go. So one of the things that, let's look at a survival pond. So here's our survival pond. What are some of the things that you think need to be in the survival pond? Yell them out. What do you think guys need to be in the survival pond? Food. Awesome. Anything else? What's that? Shelter. Anything else? Water, H2O. Keep going. And all these things we can add. So what I want to do today is I want to add a couple other ones. How are you going to get out of a survival pond? In fact, when I'm in this room, in this cardboard box, am I a big fish in a little pond or a little fish in a big pond? I'm so out of it, I don't even have a pond. I'm a fish out of water. I'm flopping around out here. Yeah, I'm afraid. Yeah, exactly. So what are the things that we want to add to our pond to be able to get out? What are some of the gems that we want to add to this to be able to get out of this? And the answer is, first thing you need is a vision. You've got to have a vision. This is a critical component of being able to get out of the survival pond and get into the next pond. We're going to be jumping ponds. And you also need to have, well, I call it, a lot of people have IDD. Not ADD, IDD, intention deficit disorder. What's my intention? I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. You've got to be able to put your attention on your intention. So I'm going to throw some nuggets out at you guys. What's the best way for you guys to hit your goal? Have a goal. The best way to hit your goal is have a goal. So I call it aim. You want to put your attention on your intention, and you want to add motion. You want to add motion. And which direction you want to go? In the direction of your goal. What's a guaranteed way you're not going to have your target? Not knowing where it is. Not knowing where it is. So there I am, this bicycle in this motel room. So I'm going to do my next investment. It's a size 58 post office coat. Giant post office coat. It's like this big. I'm a skinny little kid. And it's a size 58 post office coat. Great investment, $5, $4 at one of those used markets. Why? Because it's a sleeping bag. It's a comforter. You could put it on. You tie the sleeves. We didn't have backpacks. That's a luxury. We're down at the bottom here. So one of the golden rules is create what you need to create to succeed. Create what you need to create to succeed. What does that mean? Well, in this case, didn't have any money. Now I got a bicycle. Now I got a jacket. My jacket, like I said, is my backpack. Put rubber bands on it. Things go down the sleeves. Laundry, that's how you do your laundry. That's how you ride your bike. And that's a golden rule. You've got to create what you need to create to succeed. It's not going to be handed to you. And you've got to add to your survival pond attention to your intention. And you've got to have a goal, whatever it happens to be. So one of the next things that happens is I'm going to make an investment in my education. Education is important. So I bought a book, How to Turn $1,000 into $1 million. Now my library increased by 100% because I had a book, the only book. But I had a plan. So I got an apartment, things were moving up, and it was like, okay, I need $1,000 now because this is what the book says. So I read the book over and over and over again like a script in a play. How to turn $1,000 into $1 million. This is really important. This was going to be my mantra. How to turn $1,000 to $1 million. So I go to work one day, pull up on that bicycle, and the pizza place is locked up. Because what do they do in Las Vegas? What do they do? Come on, guys, this is an audience participation. And I got a better way to get everybody to participate. Look at this book, The Tipping Point. Whose book is this? Say, I am. Somebody. Who said that? There you go. Here we go. Okay. You've got to be ready to participate, okay? Heads up. Beautiful shot. Okay. Participation's important. There'll be more golden nuggets. So we can be silent. We're missing an opportunity. So anyways, I pull up to my Schwinn 10-speed bike to this place, Villa Capri Pizza, and The owner gambled away the proceeds. It's locked up, yellow tape. I'm out of a job, no money. I had an apartment. Normally, that's like catastrophic. Who ever heard of Hydra? Anybody ever hear of Hydra here? What is Hydra? It's in Greek mythology. You cut off its head, two grow back. Right? Two grow back. So it's not about this thing being a monster. It's about the ability to survive. Knock me down, I'm coming back stronger. Adversity is my friend. Kick my butt, I'm getting up, and I will be that much better. So they closed down this restaurant because the guy didn't pay the bills. I could go complain, look what they did, I'm such a victim. Stop. But no, go Hydra. You got to go Hydra. Knock me down, come back with two heads, cut one of those off, I'll come back with four more. That's how I am, because I am on a path to success, and I got my book, and I got to turn $1,000 into it. So I got a job in the MGM as a fry cook. I walk in this hotel, I got this big afro, there's 4,000 employees, and a skinny little kid about this big. Little fish in a big pond or big fish in a little pond? Little fish, yeah, I'm scared to death. Like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? And guys, you got to make a noise. I don't want to be a lonely fry cook for $2.50 an hour. You got to make a noise. What does that mean, make a noise? What is he talking about? It's not a physical noise. You've got to show up. You've got to be able to let people know who you are. You've got to have the power of stickiness. So I'm running around all over the hotel, learning the recipes from Café Gigi. I can't even say it. Bernaise, Bordelaise. And this little fry cook became a broiler cook. And then I became a saucier. My pay grade kept going up, and I was noticed. And I got some job security for doing that as I went up the ranks. So whatever we do in our entrepreneurial thing, get noticed. This is not the silent treatment. This is not hiding behind whatever. You've got to do what you got to do to be noticed. Which is one of my here's my golden gem. I commit to being my best. I commit to being my best. Write that down in your notes. That's a golden gem right there. What does that mean? Don't just show up. Excellence. That's the word. Awesome. Hold on. Let's see what kind of goodies I got here. Oh my God, power of habit. Excellence. That's a great habit. Heads up. Good job. All right, so participation really is good. Okay. All right. Use that book. That's a great book. All right, awesome. All right, so I commit to being my best. Am I going to go there and just be a regular guy? No. So sure enough, sooner or later, I save up my $1,000. What is the best way to create wealth? Somebody tell me the best way to create wealth? Spend less than you earn. Write that down. Spend less than you earn. Here's my budgets, 1976. Just so you guys can see. Every penny is tracked. I need my $1,000. It's chapter 1. That's my Bible. That's my college education. I'm creating what I need to create to win. And by the way, when I create what I need to create to win, what happens? Obviously, what happens to the other guy? He what? What happens to the other guy? He also wins. This is what you mean when you cook being my best. Make the other guy a winner. If you were thinking he loses, you're on the wrong deal. I commit to being my best, show up, excellence, and when I commit myself also to create what I need to create to win, to succeed, I make the others around me succeed too. Win-win. That's the key thing. So this is the actual budgets. Spring 1976, must follow budget. So I want to buy some property. What this guy does in this book is he buys a duplex for like $6,000, and then he paints it and landscapes it and blah, 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 and he sells it for $8,000. And I'm going, are you kidding me? The guy made $2,000. Do you know how much $2,000 is in 1975, 1976 at $1.40 an hour? I'm lucky if I grossed that in a year. This guy painted a place in a couple days. That's like $1 billion, $2,000. That's like fantasy. Buy some property. Turn to chapter 2. Now you need to get, what score do they check when you want to buy a property? There we go, the credit score. What's my credit? 0. So what do? Go Hydra. So I pull my bicycle up to this Wells Fargo bank, and I come walking out there, and I got this big afro on and this hair all over the place and this jacket size 58, and I walk into this banker, and he's sitting there, and he's got his little pinstripe suit on, and he's got the diploma on the wall and the quill pen. It's like, what do you want? I'm like, and I got this New York accent still. Hey, yeah, what's going on over there? One of those type of things, okay? You guys don't know what's happening here. I need to borrow $1,000. The guy looks at me like, scram. Out of here. You, out of here. Use maybe even stronger language. Like get. Anyways. Gone, right? I'm like, no. You don't understand. It's in my book. It's chapter 2. You got to get. Dude, get out of here. So, I pull out $1,000 out of my pocket. I put it on the table and I go, I want a $1,000 loan, and I want it today, and I'm the best risk in this bank. You can't lose on me. I'm Mark. I'm paid in full before I get on my wheels. I'm paid in full before I walk out that door. I'm a lock. There's no reason to turn me down. I want my loan. I want it now, and here's my $1,000. And guess what? I got the loan. And in the essence of, you got to picture what this looks like. This is a low-tech thing, but this is what it looks like. This is my health card for working in the hotel. This is what this kid with this afro looks like, okay? Just so you know, this is what it looks like, okay, as I walk into that. But I got my loan. And the payment book. So what do you think it looks like when they give you a $1,000 loan? They give you a cashier's check. Guess what I did with the cashier's check? Anybody have any idea what I did with the cashier's check? What's that? I went to Cal Fed and walked in the door and said, hey, how you doing over here? I need a loan. Here's a $1,000 cashier's check from Wells Fargo. And they gave me a loan. What do you think they gave me? A cashier's check from Cal Fed. What do you think I did with that? Anybody? Any ideas? Somebody? Got another loan. Now I have 3 bank loans. Create what you need to create to succeed. What are you going to go like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do. Create what you got to create. Now I got 3 bank loans. Next thing you know, I walk up to Sproul Homes. I'll take that 2-story house right there on that big lot. And I paid my loans off on time. 6 months. You don't miss a beat. I would do anything. It doesn't make a difference. I committed to being my best. So if somebody needed trees planted, in Nevada, it's desert, it's caliche. It's 110 degrees, and you're just doing this. I don't care. I got to pay my loans. I got a plan. 3 bank loans, I get that house. I rent out all the rooms, cooks, busboys, waiters, because I work in this big hotel, and I've got like an extra couple of $100 a month coming in, positive cash flow. It's a big frat house, but who cares when you're 18, 19 years old? And I took that money and I bought land. Somebody said, buy land. Okay, sounds good to me. So what do? Figure it out. Which land, where, how much, what kind of zoning, what is zoning? Because what university do you think I'm in? University of Mark. Who's the principal? Who's in charge of the curriculum? Who's going to be in charge of the results? Who's going to get the results? How do I get a 4.0? Get $1 million. I got my book right here. Are we getting this? Put your attention on your intention. Have the vision. Don't have IDD, intention deficit disorder. What you think about, you bring about. Write that down. What I think about, I bring about. What I think about, I bring about. This is really the success here. Whatever you put your mind into, that's what's going to happen. What you think about is going to happen. If it doesn't help you grow, let it go. If it doesn't help you grow, gone. Let it go. Put your energy on what you need to do. Somebody else told me, what you really need to do is be able to write real estate contracts and tie up a bunch of land. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good to me. So what do? I get this book for the law students in here, Contracts, Barbary, How to Study for the Bar Exam on Contracts. I read it like a script in a play. I know more about it than a freaking lawyer. I'm not going to school. I don't have any clients. I only have me. But now I can write a real estate contract. How important is this? I'll give you a perfect example. A friend of mine calls me the other day. I can't get a deal. I can't get a deal. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't get a deal. Anybody ever see that commercial? What's in your wallet? Capital One. I go, what's in your wallet? Open your briefcase or your laptop. Show me a real estate contract. Well, I ain't got one of those. How are you going to tie up a piece of real estate if you haven't read a real estate contract? Create what you need to create. Commit to being your best. Not doing your best. Being is a beingness. And anytime something happens, listen, when you do these things, like when that Villa Capri closed, here's the metaphor. You got this big wall, and you got to scratch and crawl and get over and fight and get over the wall. And guess what happens when you get over the wall? There's another wall. Okay? There's another wall. There is another wall. And when you have to pay for something and those you might refer to as a mistake, that's not a mistake. That's just extra tuition. You're going to have extra tuition. You're going to have slip-ups. You're going to have this happen. You're going to have, well, I did this, I did that. So what? Go Hydra. Come back stronger. That's really where it's at. So now I get this house and I get this piece of land and things are going pretty good here. So let's look at just some things because we have a limited time and I want to be able to cover some more golden things on it. What is a thought? Somebody, what's a thought? What is it? Idea. Good. Here we go. This time it's going to be decisive. Good job. Okay. All right. It's an idea. Could it be creativity? Could it be a fantasy? Could it be a dream? So I have, who manages the fish? Say, I am. I manage the fish, right? All you guys manage your fish, right? So my question to you is, how do you manage your fish? And the answer is with thoughts. Thoughts are important, and writing down your visions is really important. Because when you write it down, you release it. You commit yourself to your subconscious. You get detailed. Letting it go in one ear and out the other is not it. And their thoughts got to start becoming crystal clear. You got to see that bullseye. You got to see the fabric in the bullseye. You got to see the color in that bullseye. You got to be crystal. Whatever your goal is, it's great. To think is to create. To think is to create. I am the sum of my thoughts. How I see myself is what I think about me. This is really the thing. If you see yourself as rich, say, I'm rich. The money hasn't showed up. But see yourself as rich. If you see yourself as not being able to do it, so be it. What you think about is what you bring about. If you see yourself not being able to do it, guess what? You're not going to be able to do it. You have these great thoughts. You guys have so many great things in there. And you've got to release them. You've got to see your dream, your goal. You've got to write it down. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to take an inventory of the room right now of what you think, because you're the sum of your thoughts, to think about, you bring about. I'd like to know what you think about you. And it would be something like this. Pearl, you want to help me with some of these? It would be something like this. I am ... So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and just be with you. Be with yourself. Be with your own greatness. And I want you to write down like 3 words. I am what you think about you. It doesn't make a difference what they are. This is not a judgmental by any imagination. I just want to know what you think about you. So close your eyes and write down those 3 words, or think about them if you don't have a pen and paper. And then afterwards, we'll share some of them. Has everybody had a chance to think of 2 or 3 of them? We have another 20 seconds or so. Who'll be willing to share what their number 1 I am is? Trustworthy, great. Creative, love it. Beautiful, thank you. Persistent. Determined. Hard worker. What's up? Successful. Love it. Industrious. Yeah, that's good. Industrious. And what? So these are all great. These are all really, really, really great. And don't forget, there's a yang side to things too. There's yin and yang. So I know we see all the positive sides. Like I might put down, I'm loud or whatever sometimes. I'm pain in the neck. I got a better word. But I am some of those things too. But all these things have some kind of limitation on it. There's one I am I want to do as a takeaway here today. And I want you guys to really be focused on your I ams, because your I ams matter. You have everything you need. It's all in your I ams, what you see and think about yourself. So here's what I want to think about. There's this giant umbrella on the stage. Thank you, Pearl. And there's all these spokes. I am loving, I am caring, I am giving. All these things are there. I'm a pain in the butt, whatever. But they lead up to this top of this umbrella. So everybody wants you to just have this mental thing, this top of this umbrella. And that is, I am a leader. That's not leadership. That's not leading other people, telling anybody what to do. Who are you leading? Yourself. So point to yourself and say, I am a leader. Louder. Come on. What do we got? Half a class here? Come on. Yeah, and believe it. And how do you know you're a leader? You lead yourself because you take responsibility for your thoughts, your ideas, and your results. Your thoughts, your ideas, and your results, you take responsibility. If you don't like them, you change them. That's what makes you a great leader. If you don't change them and you don't like the results, are you a leader? Then what would you be? Follower. I am a leader. You're responsible for your choices. How you spend your time is going to have the most influence on your results. There are going to be weapons of mass distraction. Excuse me? Yeah, I'll be right with you. Yeah. You need to focus on your I ams. And your I ams, don't forget, have to have things like I am healthy, I am wealthy, have a money I am, have a health I am. How about your relationships? I am in a loving relationship. Does it make a difference, even with parents and uncles, brothers, siblings? Is that part of your I ams? To think is to create. Put that at the top of your list. You are the sum of your thoughts. Make that, you have to have constant, here's your warehouse. Aisle 1, aisle 2, aisle 3, there's all kinds of I ams in there. You need to have inventory of your I ams at all times. This is really where it's at. And you need to know where your goal is at all times. These are the things that are going to make a difference. Bouncing off the walls, going da-da-da-da is not going to make it. How do you know it's time to change ponds? When you have outgrown it. That's one great, when you've outgrown it. How about when there's naysayers? Anybody ever have a naysayer? Negative Nelly? You can't do that. You're not smart enough. You don't have enough money. You come from a poor family. You just cannot do this. Anybody ever have that? Well, here's my idea of when it might be a good idea to change ponds. This might be the time to change ponds. And that happens. Your pond gets contaminated. The people you hang out with, not everybody might be cool anymore. You have goals. You have places to go. You're going to be the average of the 5 closest people around you, the Petri dish effect. You're going to become what your 5 closest people around you are. Expand your network. There are times when you need to change ponds. And sometimes you're in multiple ponds. You're not always in the same pond. When you go home, it's one pond. When you go to work, it's in one pond. When you go to school, it's another pond. And just realize you live in multiple ponds. Optimize your fish pond. Fish grow to suit their environment. Make sure that your pond is big enough for you to grow. When you get things in your pond, negative people, people that are doing things they shouldn't be doing, that could affect your career and your success and your wealth, it's time to get out. Let the ship go down. You can't save it all the time. So as we wind down, I want to give you a couple of important things to remember. My artistic skills are not that great, but I will try. So, okay, put some hair on here. Okay, who's that? Yeah. And what happens is, my goal is here. And this is all for you guys in first person. Here's the top of the mountain. Here's my goal. Whatever it is, successful relationship, great business, multimillionaire. And multimillion doesn't mean you're making the money for the money. You want to be sated. You give away half your money, you still got enough. Whatever you decide, give away half, you still got enough. No problem. Right? So here's your goal. The problem is, to get from here to here, there's this thing called like that. And that is the valley of fear. What lives down here in the valley of fear? Doubt, objection, naysayers. You can't. I'm not good enough. You don't understand. I'm not smart enough. I studied all night and I still only didn't get the top grade on that. Get rid of this valley of fear. What is fear? What is fear? Uncertainty? Great answers. It's an attitude. It doesn't exist. Now, you should be fearful of certain things. You don't go into things blind. You've got to be fearful sometimes. But it's an attitude. So my question is, I'm going to try this one. Okay. Any idea what that is? A light bulb. The light goes off. You need to get from here to here. How are you going to get there? You get there when your goals, when your integrity, when your vision is bigger than your fear. That's how you get there. When your fear wins, you don't cross. Sorry, I'm not going to do, I could lose money on that. You don't understand, I'm busy. I'm not going to read that book because I just would rather do something else. It's okay, they're choices. But when your attention's 100%, so why is this light bulb that big? Why isn't it that big? Why isn't it that big? Right? You are at the center of a universe with an unlimited circumference. This over here It's your creativity, how you see yourself. This is your vision. When your vision is bigger than your fear, you will end up here. You've got to make your vision. This light bulb needs to be much bigger. This is your vision. And these lines of this going that way are the level of your intention. Are you a little Christmas bulb? Would you go to the beach with a thimble to take what you need in sand if each grain was worth $1,000? Would you show up with a thimble? This over here is your intention. Light up. Are you an extra in a play called Your Life? Think about that. This is your vision, right here. Big vision. Make it as big as you want. Don't limit yourself. Make your vision really big. So I'm going to conclude with one, because we've got a time factor here, so I'm going to talk about vision for a little bit. Because to think is to create. What you think about, you bring about. And everything's going to happen two times. So I'm going to sound redundant, because I'm going to repeat what's wrong with this guy. It always happens 2 times. It has to happen in here before it happens out there. If it doesn't happen in here, don't worry about it. Congratulations. It has to happen in here. So I had a vision several years ago. I did some vision work, and I was on this ranch, and it was several thousand acres in Northern California, up near Clear Lake. And the goal was to go there, no backpacks, no nothing like that. We just had some granola and some water and something to write on and a pencil, and that's it. And you couldn't, no magazines, no nothing. And I had to spend 24 hours with myself. I had to spend 24 hours with myself. That was difficult. No interruptions, nothing to do, no magazines to read. And after 24 hours with myself, I had to write down my 5-year vision. I don't know what it is. What are you talking about? That's 5 years from now. But I did the exercise, and I was out in the woods, and I wrote down my 5-year vision. And as I wrote it down, I wrote down things like, Mark does this, Mark does that, he goes and moves to La Jolla, he buys a beach house, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And then I wrote one thing down. This is really heavy. Mark loses a parent. It just gives me shivers to tell you this. It wasn't something ominous. I wasn't saying anything bad. I just knew that our time is limited. Our time is limited here, and I was not spending any time with my mom. I'm busy. Yeah, I got a fax. I got to do this. I got a meeting. I got to go over here. I got to meet the guy. I got to one after the other, year after year after year. And it was pretty heavy to write that. I didn't know if I was being bad or something like that, but I knew I could be a much better son. I could tell my parents I loved them. I could have an I am loving, not just write it. Based on results, I couldn't write that because I wasn't loving, because I didn't tell them I loved them enough. I didn't tell them how special they were. So I could write I am loving, but I wouldn't be truthful. And I got back from that vision thing, and I took my mother to Amsterdam and to Europe and different places like that. And I began to call her, and I became her best friend. And I became a real son, not somebody so busy, not somebody that just sent a card because it was obligatory. And then 5 years later, I lost my mother out of nowhere. And I tell you this not to be a heavy thing. I tell you this because you guys are really special. You have what it takes. You have a set of I ams. And you have to go out in the world. And you have to make a noise. And you have to tell the people you love them. And you've got to put some time in with your relationships like that. And I hadn't done that in so many years. And I'm so glad I had that vision. Because I wouldn't have done that. I would have been busy for the next 5 years. And then I would have hated myself. But the fact is, I got some time. So, in conclusion, as we wind down in time, tell your parents you love them. Tell your brothers you love them. Take extra time. I am loving. Put that on your list. I am a leader. I am successful. These were great ones. And just start to feel, I am committed to being my best. So I will leave you guys on that note. Thank you for having me here.
Wow, this was chock full of wisdom, and some of you made out like bandits with those